immigration attorney Fiona McEntee here. I am here today to break down President Biden's executive order that was issued about a week or so ago, all about artificial intelligence. So the exact title of the order is it's Executive Order on the Safe, Secure and Trustworthy Development and Use of Artificial Intelligence, AI. This order is very comprehensive and it touches lots of different parts relating to AI. I have heard it's the longest executive order that has been written. I think when you go to print it, it's 64 pages long. I've printed some sections here that are specific to immigration. So I have been working as an immigration attorney for many years, for 16 years, and I work with a lot of startups and a lot of people who work in AI as well. And this executive order is going to be really fantastic, I think, for immigration and visas and as they relate to AI and STEM. So I'm excited to share some parts of this executive order today. I'll also link the fact sheet and the executive order so people can see it. And I will also link a piece that my friend wrote from the Federation of American Scientists, a wonderful piece that he wrote. So I will link that up as well. The fact sheet that was accompanying the executive order stated that, in relation to immigration, the president wanted to use existing authorities to expand the ability of highly skilled immigrants and non-immigrants with expertise in critical areas to study, stay and work in the US. They want to modernize and streamline visa criteria, interviews and reviews. So that is what they've said are the main objectives in relation to immigration for the executive order. So I have the relevant sections printed here, and I think there's 9 main areas that the executive order touches as it relates to immigration. So the first is relates to visa appointments. So the executive order, by the way, directs certain action to be taken in specific areas. So it's not necessarily changing everything as of today, but it is directing the Secretary of State or the Secretary of Homeland Security to take specific actions in certain areas. So it's pretty clear in relation to what the president wants. So just know that it doesn't actually establish these changes, but it directs the Secretary of State and the Homeland Security Secretary to make these changes. However, notwithstanding the fact that these changes are forthcoming, I think us as immigration attorneys can really still use this executive order to advocate for our clients. In fact, we're preparing some cases for startup parole and O1s and other types of cases, and we're going to be definitely using the language in the executive order in support of these cases just to show how important these immigrants are to the US. So even though exact changes are forthcoming, don't forget about this, and you can still use it and advocate for yourself and your clients in their cases. So first relates to visa appointments. So the Secretary of Homeland Security is directed to take steps to streamline the processing times of and availability of visa appointments for people who work in these critical areas, AI and other critical emerging technologies. And they're also directed to facilitate continued availability of visa appointments. So just ideally then more visa appointments would be available for people in these critical areas. Second change relates to J1 visas and the home residency requirement, which that's important because certain J1 visa holders have a home residency requirement where they have to go back for 2 years. So again, Secretary of State is directed to review that and to make some updates there, which would be beneficial to people in skills that are critical to the US. Okay, number 3, the Secretary of State is directed to consider implementing a domestic visa renewal program, meaning the ability to get visa stamps here in the US. Now, there is a pilot program that we're going to be seeing for H-1B visa renewals as of early next year. People are going to be able to get visa appointments for H1Bs. It's just a very limited pilot program, but this executive order talks about expanding the categories of people who can apply for visa stamps here in the US, including J1 research scholars, F1 students in STEM fields, which is fantastic because it can be hard to get a visa appointment abroad. People need to travel. There is some uncertainty about how long they might be stuck abroad following said visa appointment. And being able to renew your visa in the US, it gives people just a nice sense of security and certainty with regards to travel. I came to the US as an international student myself. I originally was on a J1 and then I was on an F1, so I know exactly kind of what that's like getting a visa stamp, and the ability to get a visa stamp in the US is going to be key and really important for people. So that's the third change that we're seeing. Fourth change is creating a program to identify and attract top talent in AI and other critical technologies at universities, research institutions, and private sector overseas. So basically a talent pipeline for AI in the US. Want to see that. And also, just educational programs to inform people about the availability of visas and stuff like that. So education to attract top talent to the US. Number 5, which I think is really important, is directing the Secretary of Homeland Security to review and initiate any policy changes that are necessary to modernise and update certain existing immigration options, such as the O1A visa, EB1A green card, EB2 green cards, so national interest waiver, or potentially like a perm-based EB2. And for startup founders and other critical emerging technology fields, using international entrepreneur parole, which is a favorite of mine, startup parole. So to recap, the Secretary of Homeland Security is directed to make some policy changes specifically for these existing options to hopefully clarify some areas of concern, maybe update some of the guidance to bring it in line with more modern practices. I'm hoping with the international entrepreneur rule, we will get some clear processing times, things like that. So that is the 5th change, which is the proposed policy changes. Number 6 just relates to the H1B program. Just continue to update that. There are some proposed regulations in relation to the H1B. And then this kind of touches on that, and just to continue modernizing the H1B, just to talk about more rulemaking in relation to that. Okay, so number 7 is in relation to what are known as Schedule A occupations, which is occupations that have a kind of clear work or labor shortage in the US. So right now we have some very limited Schedule A occupations. Nurses and physical therapists. That list has not been updated in many, many years, and this relates to this. So essentially asking the Department of Labor to designate certain fields as having a labor shortage in the US, which would hopefully then eliminate the need for employers to go through the perm recruitment process. This would be a very welcome change for people because we have a critical talent shortage in these areas, and it would be great if our immigration policy reflected the actual reality of the labour market. So that would be exciting. Number 8 talks about using discretionary authority to support and attract foreign nationals with skills in AI and other critical emerging. So, the Secretary of Homeland Security and Secretary of State have certain discretionary authorities in the law already. And we see that in the parole program, how international entrepreneur parole for startup founders was created using the existing law. So perhaps expansion of parole for people in AI. I've also heard people talk about perhaps recapturing some green card numbers that went unused before. So that could be something. So that's number 8, utilising discretionary authority in other ways. Number 9 is to just develop and publish some more informational resources to better attract and retain experts in AI and other critical emerging technologies. So, that is proposed, changes that we hopefully will see as a result of this executive order. You know, there's lots of other sections. This is just the section in relation to immigration. I am very excited to see the president take such action to really try to enhance US competitiveness, to just, you know, have an immigration system that supports these critical entrepreneurs in this field. You know, we want to be competitive in this field, and in order to do so, we absolutely need to be able to attract and retain incredible talented immigrants in these fields. So hopefully this was clear, and we'll link some resources for you. Yeah, I am an immigration nerd who loves anything startup, AI, tech related. So for me, this is just very exciting reading. If you don't want to parse through the full executive order, hopefully this video has given you some clear guidance on what's in there, and let me know if you have any questions. And yeah, please subscribe to our channel, sign up for our newsletter, and follow us for more updates. Thank you.